Stocks open with cuts but stage a recovery even as global cues remain positive. Financials come off the lows but are under pressure while IT metals and autos eke out gains. In a surprise move, Britannia lets go of MD and CEO Varun Berry by waiving his notice period even as he proposed to serve it out. Incoming CEO Rakshit Hargave will now also be designated as managing director when he joins in December. The abrupt shuffle spooks the street. A deterioration in the asset quality of Bajaj Finance's MSME loan book prompts it to rein in growth, leading to a cut in growth guidance for FY26. The shadow bank also says that credit costs will be near the upper end of its guidance. The stock skids. Net equity inflows into mutual funds dipped in October, with large, mid and small cap funds seeing a decline in flows even as hybrids saw investments jump. Experts contend that the interest in multi-asset and the IPO rush are likely to have drawn some funds away from the equity markets. Following the car explosion in New Delhi, Prime Minister Modi and Defence Minister Rajnath Singh assure an in-depth investigation into the incident and promise that the perpetrators will be brought to justice. Home Minister Amit Shah also chaired a high-level meeting at his residence a short while ago. Good afternoon, you're with us here on Business Lunch. We are coming to you live from the CNBC TV 18 Motilal Oswal studios. I am Hormuz Fatakia, and it's been a very strong recovery from the Nifty in a few minutes from there, at least in the last couple of hours. At the lowest point of the day, the index was at around 25,450, and from there, it's seen a rebound of almost 120 points and has almost moved into positive territory. Of course, mind you, it's the weekly options expiry today, so we need to brace for such kind of volatility anyway. The banking stocks that were leading the index down have led to the recovery as well, and the Nifty Bank too has now recovered almost 300 points from the lows of the day. A couple of earnings reactions. Bajaj Finance, of course, that continues to remain at or near the lows of the day. There is no respite for that stock. 7.6% lower now on the stock, on the verge of breaking below that 1,000 rupee mark, which it did in intraday trading. So almost 8% lower for Bajaj Finance, and consequently Bajaj Finserv, which reports results today, and that too now is trading with losses of well over 6.5%, almost close to 7% now for Bajaj Finserv as well. Just pull up Bharat Forge. Numbers came in just a few minutes earlier. The earlier guidance was the fact that the North American exports will continue to suffer in the second half as well. But the bigger takeaway is the fact that the domestic business will do more than enough to offset the impact of that weakness seen in the exports to the North American market. And as a result of which, as you can see, after that brief dip that came in after the first bit of the guidance, the stock has recovered again and has moved towards the highest point of the day, 1.5% higher for Bharat Forge. But the other big announcement that came in last evening was from Britannia, and that stock too was among the top losers today, and that is following the resignation of Varun Berry. Mangalam is joining in on this to take us through more on this. Mangalam.
Well, what has spooked Britannia today more than anything else is that the board did not give any notice period to Varun Berry. So Varun Berry has been the MD CEO of Britannia for over a decade right now, and an exemplary leader out there as well. Under his tenure, the revenues grew by about 2.5 times, the profits grew by 6 times, the market cap of Britannia itself was up 18 times. Yes, the street was hoping for a transition. They were hoping for a smooth transition. So on its part, the company had announced Rakshit Hargave as the CEO with effect from December 15th, with the understanding that maybe Varun Berry, when he leaves as the MD, Rakshit will be appointed as MD and CEO. Varun, in his resignation, did say that he was willing to, extend his transition or extend his services for a smooth transition in the notice period as well. But the board has accepted that resignation with immediate effect and waived off notice. What this has done is left a hole in the company's top for the next 1 month. No MD right now, but Natarajan Venkatraman, who's a CFO, has been appointed as the interim CEO. So this transition jerk is something that the street is not liking, and which is why the stock is lower by about 4%. Although from a business standpoint, the next half of this year looks fairly strong for Britannia, with the GST-related benefits coming up and showing in their volumes.
Mangalam, thank you for that update there on Britannia. That stock, unlike Bajaj Finance, has seen a minor recovery from the lows, so almost 4% lower now. At one point was also down 6.5. Now, city gas distribution companies, well, they had a bit of a spike in the last couple of hours, but they too have cooled off from the highs. And that's after the oil and gas regulator, PNGRB's high-level committee on natural gas, has submitted its report on planned reforms for city gas distributors. Now, the proposals include the restoration of APM allocation for CNG transport segment, the inclusion of CNG as a cleaner fuel in the vehicle scrappage policy, mandatory using of CNG in public and commercial vehicles in high polluting areas. Fleet conversion mandates have also been recommended. Now, we also spoke to DK Saraf to understand what could the planned reforms mean for city gas distributors. Listen into what he had to say.
Natural gas should be included in GST because the GST paid on various inputs by different manufacturers who are using natural gas, that GST is extended. What we suggested, we took care of the government's concern on revenue, and we said that you include natural gas within GST, but you put a rate of GST in such a manner that it becomes revenue neutral. When it becomes revenue neutral, it may not become revenue neutral to each state, but on an overall basis, it would become revenue neutral.
Now, moving on to the primary markets then, we also spoke to Prateek Maheshwari, the co-founder and whole-time director at Physicswala, whose near 3,500 crore rupee IPO hit the market today. Listen to what he had to say.
We are fastest Indian company to achieve 3,000 crores of top line in less than 5 years of the timeline. Offline, you rightly mentioned, offline at a steady state is a 15 to 18% margin business. But I'm number 5th player in offline. My market share is less than 7%. So there's a huge headroom to expand. It will be a compounding story for next 10 years. The stores, the 170 stores which we have opened recently will turn profitable. So the second year is the year when the offline stores turns profitable, and third year is when the offline stores start generating at return of capital happens at third year. If you see my market penetration, it's not even 7% as compared to my competition. So there's a huge headroom to expand in offline, which will give me enormous revenue growth.
We just spoke about Bharat Forge a few minutes earlier, and Sudarshan is now here to take us through those numbers. Sudarshan.
So considering the ongoing tariff situation and the geopolitical situation that we have been seeing over the last few months, there was an expectation that Bharat Forge might miss estimates, but surprisingly, on both standalone and the consolidated basis, company has come out with earnings, and earnings have looked much better than expectations. So I'll just give you two numbers. On both standalone basis, look at the EBITDA margin. It's much above than 27%. It has come around 28%. On consolidated basis also, margin has come in 18% versus our expectation of 16%. But beside that, two important lines that I'll talk about that company Mr. Kalyani has given in his statement. So when he talked about that North America export business may remain weak in H2 FY26, the stock had seen a sharp decline. It had gone to as low as 1314. But after that, there was another line that the weakness, what will be seen from the export business, North America export business, will be not only fully offset, but industrial and defense will outperform, and it will do more than offset. And look at the stock. Currently, it's up almost 4% from lows of 13-14. It's up more than 5%. And that's the reason. So not only the earnings have come in much better than expectations, the big move in the stock you are seeing on the back of positive commentary that we have got from Kalyani.
Oh yes, not to take away from the fact that the earnings were also better than expectations. Sudarshan, thank you for that. 3.5% higher now on Bharat Forge. When we addressed the stock at the start of the show, it was 1.5%. So it has seen a significant move from those levels as well. Take a short break. More news and updates on the other side. Welcome back, and on to the latest news from the heart of Delhi, where at least 8 people have been killed in a car explosion near the Red Fort. Home Minister Amit Shah chaired a high-level security review meeting a while ago. Let's go across to Timsy, who has more details on this. Timsy.
Well, as you rightly said, after the explosion that was heard right in the heart of Delhi at the Red Fort, to be precise, outside gate number 4 of Red Fort's metro station at about 6:52, that is when the explosion happened. Union Home Minister last evening itself took a detailed review, went to the spot, went to LNJP hospital where the victims and the injured were taken. And today in the morning, as we speak, we are outside Home Minister's residence, where he chaired a meeting with senior officials on this particular matter. Present in the meeting were Director IB, DG NSG, DG NIA, DGP Jammu and Kashmir, who had joined virtually, and Delhi Police Commissioner. It is being learned from sources that the traces are going back to the ammonium nitrate that was being seized yesterday itself from Faridabad in a joint operation between J&K Police and Haryana Police. It is understood that the car which was carrying the explosives, which actually where the explosion happened, had a Haryana number plate, and that is understood to have left from Faridabad early in the morning yesterday itself. As we speak, the Delhi police have registered an FIR last evening, late last night to be precise itself, under UAPA, Explosive Acts and BNS Act, Section 16 and 18 of UAPA, Section 34 of Explosive Acts, and Section 1031, 1091, 61(2) of BNS, under which the investigations as we speak are underway. No formal statement as yet from any of the top governments, but Prime Minister himself in Bhutan actually said that those behind this blast will not be spared. It is being learned from sources, however, no official confirmation as yet, that there could be a Cabinet Committee of Securities meeting tomorrow when the Union Cabinet meeting is being chaired. But all this right now just being speculated, just being considered that it could happen. As we speak, no formal confirmation from the government as yet, whether it is a terror act or not, whether there will be a Cabinet Committee of Securities meeting or not. But yes, as we speak, detailed investigations being chaired by Union Home Minister himself, Union Home Secretary taking the helm along with Union Home Minister, being briefed about the matter, and now investigations underway.
Timsy, thank you for that update. In fact, let's also listen into the Prime Minister as to what he said on his state visit to Bhutan.
मैं कल रात भर इस घटना की जांच में जुटी सभी एजेंसियों के साथ, सभी महत्वपूर्ण लोगों के साथ संपर्क में था, विचार विमर्श चलता था, जानकारियों के तार जोड़े जा रहे थे। हमारी एजेंसियां इस षड्यंत्र की तह तक जाएगी। इसके पीछे के षड्यंत्रकारियों को बख्शा नहीं जाएगा। All those responsible will be brought to justice.
And Santya is now here with a roundup of the progress on the probe being conducted and the angles that the agencies are working on. Santya.
So, Abbas, multiple agencies are examining the case. As our colleague Timsy mentioned, that how Delhi Police has filed an FIR under sections of UAPA, Bharti Airtel and Explosives Acts. Though NIA has not officially taken over the case, but NIA has extended full support and is helping Delhi Police with the investigation. There is another case about which we need to talk. This case pertains to Kashmir Police. Last month, at multiple locations in Kashmir, posters by Jaish-e-Mohammed, terror outfit Jaish-e-Mohammed, were pasted, and in those posters, Indian security forces were threatened. Based on that, Kashmir Police filed an FIR, and recently Kashmir Police conducted multiple raids and searches at multiple locations in Jammu and Kashmir, Faridabad in Haryana and Saharanpur in UP. Kashmir Police arrested 8 accused who are allegedly linked with terror outfits like Jaish-e-Mohammed and are allegedly being operated by handlers from Pakistan and other countries. Now, all these agencies, Kashmir Police, NIA and Delhi Police, they are coordinating among each other and they are trying to establish this one thing, whether this Faridabad module, which got busted by Kashmir Police recently, where explosives worth 2,900 kg, along with remote and, timers and other chemicals, other weapons with ammunition were seized by Kashmir Police, whether this Faridabad module has anything to do with, has any connection with Delhi explosions or not. Another thing which all these agencies are trying to establish here, Hormaz, a name has come up in the investigation.
Right.
Dr. Omar, who is as of now said to be a resident of Pulwama. Now the agencies are trying to establish whether Dr. Omar has anything to do with the blast or not, because as of now he's said to be connected with these 8 accused and a member of Jaish-e-Mohammed.
Santya, thank you for that update. And as the air quality now in Delhi NCR worsened to the severe category, the Commission for Air Quality Management has imposed stage 3 of the graded response action plan. Timsy is joining in with more. Shivani is joining in with more on this.
Well, absolutely. Air quality in Delhi NCR has officially entered the severe zone, forcing authorities to trigger a stage 3 of the graded response action plan, or the GRAP, starting today. The citywide average AQI has jumped to 425, with several hotspots showing even higher readings. Bhavna, for example, is at 462, Alipur is at 442, Chandni Chowk at 416, and so are various other regions and areas in Delhi NCR. With pollution levels rising sharply, the administration has moved to tighten curbs. Under GRAP Stage 3, all non-essential construction and demolition activities are now banned in NCR, along with the closure of stone crushers and hot mix plants. Municipal bodies have been instructed to intensify road cleaning and dust control in the city. Importantly, the worsening of air quality has now begun to affect the school and general life in Delhi. Schools have now been asked to shift to a hybrid model for class 1st to 5th, meaning online classes and more flexibility for younger children in Delhi NCR to save them from toxic air. Doctors are also advising residents, especially children and elderly, to not step out during the morning and the evening hours when pollution levels peak. So while enforcement has now stepped up with GRAP Stage 3 in place, the immediate priority remains protecting public health as Delhi once again battles the hazardous winter air. Back to you.
Shivani, thank you for that update. Take a break for now. More news and updates on the other side. Let's now get to the latest from Donald Trump. The US president has once again hinted at an impending trade deal with India. Listen to what he had to say.
Well, right now the tariffs are very high on India because of the Russian oil, and they've stopped doing the Russian oil. It's been reduced very substantially. Yeah, we're going to be bringing the tariffs down. You know, we're making a deal with India, a much different deal than we had in the past. So right now they don't love me, but they'll love us again. We're getting a fair deal, just a fair trade deal. We had pretty unfair trade deals. They're very good negotiators, sir. Just you have to take a look at that, if you would, please. But we're getting close, Scott. I think we're pretty close to doing a deal that's good for everybody, right?
Meanwhile, the deadlock over the US government shutdown seems to be ending with the Senate passing a key measure. The bill now needs to be passed by the House and signed by President Trump. Listen to what he had to say about the deal.
If it's a deal I heard about, that's certainly, they want to change the deal a little bit, but I would say so. I think based on everything I'm hearing, they haven't changed anything, and we have support from enough Democrats, and we're going to be opening up our country. It's too bad it was closed, but we'll be opening up our country very well. I will be. I'll abide by the deal. The deal is very good. We're not going to be giving $1.5 trillion to people that came in from jails and from, the gangs and drug dealers and all of these others that they wanted to be given health care, which would have hurt our health care system.
I take a leave on this edition of Business Lunch from me and the team. Thank you for watching. Midcap Radar on the other side.